so many on here. Okay. Oh well, it's fine. Ugh. That's fine.
Does seem very dark, doesn't it?
Do we have a backup phone? Yeah. Tommy has it.
Okay, great. Okay, so welcome. We are here at the start of the 4 p.m. safety briefing at the Meadows Center for the 63rd Annual Texas Water Safari. The board is getting ready to do the announcements, and please.
I think we're ready to get this underway. I want to welcome everybody to the 63rd running of the Texas Water Safari. And it's a record year for boats, which y'all obviously all know. We had 192 entered. We're losing a few, but that's typical. You know, the day or two before the race, we get an email, I think we need another year. And so
You sit down.
we'll probably start with around 185 to 186 boats, which is still just an incredible amount of people, bodies on the river. Each year, we set out a table honoring the history of the race and the memories of those who have raced. This past year, we had 13 members of our racing family pass away. This race means much to every person involved, the racers, the volunteers, the supporters, and even the far-off family members following a ping or a dot on their phone or on a desktop. We take this time now to honor those who have passed. Tracy Francis, Sweets Judge for about 10 years. Tom Stallman, racer. Roger Zimmerman, racer. I believe he did the first race in 1963 solo when I went to Corpus. He only made it to like Oswell or someplace. He ran out of time. He couldn't get there. And so then we also had Richard Linden, Pat Petrisky, Kyle Clark, and the legendary Joe Miner from the Miner family. Harvey Babb, Texas Water Safari board member. Don Dixon, Chuck McHenry, Bill Smith, Kara Weber of the Texas River Marathon and Gator Chase, and Kenneth Hurd. The river carries us forward, but it also carries our memories. Today we honor the racers, volunteers, and friends who paddled before us and whose weight remains upon these waters. I'd like to read 2 verses. Let us run perseverance the race marked out for us. Hebrews.
Amen.
When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and of self-discipline. Isaiah and Timothy. I'm sure all former racers who have passed away will be with us on the river tomorrow.
Amen.
Woo! All right. We got a lot of good stuff to cover. One thing I'm always excited to like to talk about is some of the statistics on the race. It's between 1963 and 2025, we've had 44 states participate in the Texas Water Safari, including Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia. We've had participants from 11 foreign different countries. The 2 states we added last year were Delaware and West Virginia. The only states that never have been represented in the Texas Water Safari are Alaska, Iowa, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Vermont, and Wyoming. The foreign countries include Australia. Yeah, Ian Addison. Australia. Okay. Yeah, the foreign countries include Delaware, West Virginia. Nope, they are considered foreign. Australia, Belize, Brazil, Canada, Chile, United Arab Emirates, Germany, Iraq, Ireland, Italy, and the United Kingdom. This year, and we actually have this year participating in the race, we have 108, the numbers drop down to 189 boats, 192 entered, 384 competitors, 356 team captains. And this is kind of interesting to see how the different classes have grown. Aluminum has 21 boats. Mixed Tandem Unlimited has 8. Novice has 33, which holds about that same last year. Novice Women has 2. This one jumped. Solo Unlimited Man, 37. Solo Unlimited Women, 3. Standard, 6. Tandem Unlimited, 20. Tandem Unlimited Women, 2. Unlimited, 36. Unlimited Women, 1. Yeah. Give me the trophy. Now you gotta get the secret first. And we've got USCA C1 Men, 10. USCA C1 Women, 1. Give me the trophy. And then USCA C2, 9. So out of all the competitors, a total of 384. 341 are males, 43 are females. The youngest is 13, the oldest is 76. The 3 countries this year are Belize, United States, of course, and the United Kingdom. The states represented this year are Alabama, Arizona, I don't know if this is a state, I thought it was a suburb of Texas. Arkansas, California, Colorado, Florida, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Mexico, Ohio, and another suburb, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, Virginia, and Washington. Also, every year we try to pull together some of the unique boat names out there. There's some pretty clever ones this year. A play on the mileage, 260 miles, Smiles, Where's Waldo? Get It, Grandpa. Show, No, Mo, We, Ho. Zoom, Zoom, Allumes, Zoom. I don't know about aluminum Zoom. Bruised Bananas. Not Fast, Just Furious. Then we also have the Rio Banditos, which is the name for 2 boats. There's the 3 wet tandem Rio Bandito and a solo wet bandit. Smokey and the Bandit. Some of the legends or folks who've been around a while. River Fitness, Phil Bowden. And we all know them, the Cowboys, and their boat is called the Last Ride. I believe John Mark's 40th if he finishes. So, which I'm sure he'll finish no matter what, because they're not going to let him out of the boat. And then we have the old gray bearded polecat. Then the cute name, the father-daughter dance, Pete and Molly Binion. Young Guns, Low Expectations, father-son team. And then a mother-son team and another Binion boat. We also have, I don't know what this means, but it's titled Dirty. See you next Tuesday. All right. We want to give special thanks to Robert Bates, the Executive Director of the Meadows Center. We're going to ask him to come up here and say a few words. We also want to give a big shout out to Miranda Waite. She's the Deputy Director of Education. Miranda is instrumental in getting us all lined up, and it's like the safari officials and bird board are like herding chickens, and she keeps us going. And she also serves as a team captain usually every year as well. So I'm going to turn this over to Robert, if you're around, right behind me.
All right, thank you for the introduction. Welcome to Texas State University. Welcome to the Meadows Center. Welcome to Spring Lake. We are super excited to have you all here. I have a posse with me today, just like some of you multi-paddler teams have. So I have Ishrat, graduate student. She's working on Jacob's Well, telling the story about what went wrong that caused the failure that spring. Got Megan here, who's working statewide, looking at groundwater management. And then I've got Justin here, who is, some applause, Megan. Got Justin here, who's in the geography department and helps us with Texas Stream Team, which is a community science program with over 20,000 sites in a database where people in different communities make measurements of rivers. And then that information is used to verify the safety of our rivers and early warning system for contamination. Also want to double, I don't know if Miranda is around.
Right here.
Where is she?
Right here.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, another stand up, round of applause. I mean, this would not happen without Miranda. This is such an impressive event. So, Texas Water Safari has been happening for over 60 years now, and it's up to you all to ensure the continuity of the race next year. These are the second largest group of springs in Texas. For a while, we were the largest group of springs because the drought had Kamal Springs lower flow than here, but the recent rains have changed that. Currently, we're flowing about 88 cubic feet per second. For those of you that are counting, that's 7,020 bottles of Lone Star a second. It should be about 180 cubic feet per second. So despite the rain we've been having recently, the drought is not over for the aquifer. Little tidbit, the film Piranha was filmed here, this 1970s original version. Anybody seen that movie? It is worth seeing. Because you get to see what this place looked like when Ralph the Swimming Pig, he makes a cameo in the movie. So check it out. It's a terrible movie, by the way, but it's historically interesting. You see what Aquarita Springs look like if you're not familiar. Besides any leftover piranhas in the lake, if you're a newbie, don't be too worried about that, but watch. We have a number of endangered species that live here. In fact, if we didn't have the endangered species, this spring would not be flowing today. You'd be starting the race quite a ways downstream. And the endangered species is what's kept the springs flowing. To protect the species, you need spring flow. We also need a healthy habitat. And that's where we need some help from you all when you're entering the lake. We, Miranda and I and others, we get asked questions as stewards of the lake and the species at the lake, and the ecology here at the lake. It's like, how can we let this event happen? And it's because we trust that you're going to take care of the lake, respect the lake, and hell, you want to start at the beginning of the river, right? This is where the race starts. But we need your help to make sure that this environment for the salamanders, the fountain darters, the wild rice, the riffle beetles, and more are friendly. We also share the lake with an otter family. We have beavers that have moved in relatively recently, so we have a beaver family. So please treat the lake and the river with respect, and the lake and the river will treat you back well. So the way the system works to be able for y'all to launch at the lake is working with the organizers of the events and getting a Spring Lake Access Agreement. And we make sure that this activity operates within the parameters of the Habitat Conservation Plan to protect the species. The approval is contingent on aquifer flows, so if we were in stage 5, you would not be able to start in the lake. Fortunately, you are able to start in the lake this year, but there's some guarantees. One is that you would not trample the riparian areas with your boats entering the lake. So it's really key that you enter the lake at the designated spots around the lake. We also want you to stay out of the shallow areas of the headwaters, and the lake shoreline to prevent trampling of endangered species and shoreline erosion. And part of the lake is blocked off with buoys and a rope. Don't hang onto the rope, don't cross the line. There's a number of the species that are over there. Salamanders. No pooping in the lake. I haven't heard of anybody pooping in the lake, but I know somebody's probably thinking about it. Wear diapers. That might be going too far. But bottom line, when you're in the lake, keep your halibut in the boat. We don't want you diving into the lake. Just be in your boat. You need to be in the boat anyway, so make sure you get a start. Let's see. So as you start the race and you're heading towards Spring Lake Dam, you can either cross the dam on the right side, which is the Kirby Lane side, or portage around the restaurant on Kirby Lane, and access the river access point on the other side. There's no access to the eastern spillway or that half of the dam, the far left side of the dam as you're heading downstream. There's a bunch of San Marcos salamanders. It's like we call it San Marcos Salamander Hotel over there. And so we want to keep folks away from there, especially with the lower flows. There will be caution tape blocking off the areas that you need to stay away from. And there might be a penalty there as well if the folks are caught going that way. When you're getting into the San Marcos River from Spring Lake, please be mindful of patches of Texas wild rice. Avoid trampling the vegetation. And not only is there wild rice over there, but there's also, again, salamanders and fountain dwellers. And so there will be people monitoring the area and looking for folks that are not following the rules. So again, before we wrap up, I just want to thank you all for your cooperation in creating a safe event, both for you and for the species that live here. Spring Lake and San Marcos River are not only the starting point for one of Texas' greatest endurance races, but home to species found nowhere else on Earth, and a cultural landscape that supported people for thousands of years. What happens here matters, so your actions tomorrow will help determine whether future generations of racers will have the same opportunity to launch from these springs. We're proud to host the Texas Water Safari. When I first stepped into the role I'm in today, and some folks were lobbying me about maybe push y'all downstream, but there's a tradition for y'all to start here, and I'm convinced, as we are at the Meadows Center, that this can be done in a safe, environmentally conscious way, and we certainly need your help to do that. So if you happen to see a fountain darter, a San Marcos salamander, an otter, a beaver, or perhaps one of the legendary leftover piranhas from the movie film here, consider yourself lucky. Most importantly, be safe, look out for one another, enjoy the experience. You're about to become part of a Texas tradition that has challenged paddlers for more than 6 decades. Respect the river, and the river will respect you back. Good luck. Have a great race. Don't poop in the lake. And paddle like hell. Thank you.
This is the time each year we try to think a little bit about the folks that make this possible. You already know we've talked about all the volunteers, but I want to talk for just a moment about our sponsors. If you're sitting close to someone or behind them, you can see the back of this year's shirt. There's 28 sponsors listed there. And you should also know that the entry fees you pay only make up 2/3 of what it takes to put this race on. If it were not for these sponsors and other sources that we have, we would not be able to hold it. One of our major sponsors that I want to recognize, and that's the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority. I don't think we have anybody here today, but tomorrow Darrell Nichols, the general manager, will be starting the race, so you might be able to see him at that time. I want to also say that they're really responsible for the driving guides that you see up here, for all the lunch boxes that you see. They print these for us, and they help in so many ways. They clear the river from water hyacinth that many of you have encountered on the river, and certainly without them, we couldn't do the race. I want to also recognize Smith Industries. For over 40 years, Smith Industries has been a sponsor of this race. Dating back in 1980, Smitty, who is no longer with us, raced the race 5 times, and since then his son David, who has also raced the race, and he'll be here tomorrow, is one of our major sponsors. And he couldn't be here today, but we made this paddle for him, which shows the river and shows him and his dad in the boat, actually. So we're going to give that to him tomorrow. He wanted to be here, but won't be able to make it until tomorrow morning. We'd also like to thank the San Marcos Convention and Visitors Bureau. They are one of our major sponsors. If you fill out one of the surveys for hotels, that's something that they require, and we appreciate their support. Another sponsor I want to recognize is John Boogie and Boogie Canoes. John's sitting over here. John, raise your hand. John has not only T-racing for his 47th time, but he has about 22 or 24 boats that he is in the race that he's renting to other folks out there. So John is a big contributor to the race. Also, the banner back here on the back talks about the up and back race in Junction. That's the second hardest canoe race in Texas, I'd say. Hoyt, raise your hand. Hoyt puts this on. It's not for the week, but anyway, it's going to be held on the 22nd of August this year. Also, I want to give a special thanks to, where's Kate Tarr? Kate, are you with us? Raise your hand and yell. Somewhere. Where is she? Back here. Kate's responsible for, she's our editor, puts together the driving guide every year. I want to also thank the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department that brought us these bags. And by the way, this is all freebies up here. And we don't want to have to pack this up in all these boxes. So once we get through, come up here and get some bags or get some of the lunch boxes as well. We also appreciate Ally Medical, who provided a bunch of the red bags with medical supplies today. And thank all the rest of the sponsors and all. There were 28 that's on that shirt, and we appreciate all your help. I want to just for a moment talk about a special award that we do every year. In 2012, we had a young man in a tandem boat that was only 30 years of age, and during the race, he drank a lot of water and had hypernatremia and passed away. The board didn't want to forget his memory, so we created what we call the Brad Ellis Spirit Award, and there's going to be on the website, there's one of the QR codes, and there's also going to be one at each checkpoint station. If you see something, an act of sportsmanship by a team captain, a person in the race, which you think is worthy, if you would go ahead and fill out that form, and we will obviously look at those nominees, and the board will make a decision, and we sometimes, if it's worthy enough, we will present the Brad Ellis Award, and the plaque is right over here. The people who are on here have done something extraordinary. Some of them have rescued people that were in the water and about to go down for the last time. We have had multiple winners, so if you see something and you want to submit a nomination, do so. Alan?
Good afternoon. Last year, we started the John DuPont Scholarship Fund in memory of John DuPont, who passed away during the Junior Texas Water Sport. John was a 30-plus time finisher of the race, and we formed a scholarship committee. So let me introduce them to you, Libby Geisinger, Willie Martin, and Jim Weber. They take it from here.
For those of you guys who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Willie Martin. I'm the nephew of John DuPont. John DuPont was a safari legend. He had more than 30 safari finishes. 35. 35, that's the number I'm hearing. Most of them with the iconic Cowboys. If you followed the race, or if you started the race, you probably heard him yelling commands to his boat at the front of the pack, or just him and John Martin going down Rio Vista in their 6-man boat. The water safari community was a family to him. He loved telling stories and sharing his love for the river with new safari paddlers, the young generation. And unfortunately, in 2024, John unexpectedly passed away. So to keep that spirit alive, we formed this scholarship committee to help carry that legacy on and support people who are doing things to support the river and or be good stewards of the river, and to also support the next generation of the water safari community. So with direction from the board, we started the scholarship. This is the first year we are awarding it. We received many good applications, and I'll let Libby take it away and introduce our 2 recipients this year.
All right, so our committee reviewed each application and presented our recipient recommendations to the board. And so we would like to congratulate Alana Davidson and Aiden Stafford as our 2 recipients of the John DuPont Scholarship. Alana has supported her dad through 2 safaris and is helping this year as a volunteer and hopes to compete with him one day after she is done with school. Alana is pursuing a pre-law in order to become a politician with a focus on river conservation. She will also compete in Division I rowing while at school. The committee and board are excited to present Alana with a $500 scholarship to aid in her pursuits. Aiden is the grandson of longtime safari veteran Bill Stafford, aka Polecat, and Aiden supported his grandfather and John for many safaris while growing up and developed a great love of nature. He is planning on pursuing a degree in biology to become an aquatic biologist. The committee and board are excited to present Aiden with a $500 scholarship to aid in his pursuits. We encourage other people to apply next year for the scholarship and grant. There is a link on the Safari website under the John DuPont Scholarship. Whether it is to continue your education, educate others on the river, or if you want to help preserve the river through maybe future river cleanups. You can also support the scholarship and grant right now during Safari through our raffle. We have the raffle going on today and at the banquet for a free individual entry into next year's Safari. So if you want to save some money, you might win it. So, thank you. Okay. Just wanting you to know that the raffle is, or the prize is transferable. So if you don't want to race next year, you can pass it off to someone else.
Come buy a ticket. Cash only. Cash only.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Melissa James.
I want to take a minute and thank our volunteers. The Safari community is truly one of the greatest racing communities. Whether you're racing down the river or supporting from the banks, there's a unique balance of fierce competition and genuine care for one another that makes this event special. But what you see on race day is only part of the story. For an event of this size to happen, it takes an incredible team of volunteers. This year, we have an amazing group of more than 70 checkpoint officials, 29 race officials, over 350 team captains, and countless river angels helping racers along the way. This race would not exist without the commitment and dedication from the volunteers. So to every volunteer here today, thank you.
Woo!
By the way, this is Melissa James. She's on the board.
Way to go, Melissa.
Okay. Every year, we have so many people to thank, and we've heard about some already, but at times, we have someone who's done something really extraordinary, and we certainly want to recognize them. So when I call your name, would you please come over here in front of the table, Joy M. Shaw.
This was sweaty. Okay. She's passing off a puppy. Give her a second. Okay.
She's got to put Hank down. Come on up here. In 2008, Joy M. Shaw completed the Texas Water Safari in an impressive time of 82 hours and 26 minutes. Well, it would be her only finish as a competitor. Her involvement with the race was just beginning. Over the next 18 years, Joy selflessly dedicated to the paddling community proved unmatched. She generously supported not only the Texas Water Safari, but also the Texas River Marathon and the Gator Chase. Throughout the years, she served in numerous capacities, including race official, timekeeper, results coordinator, and for nearly a decade, head checkpoint official at Staples. Joy's creative artwork has also left a lasting legacy, inspiring confidence, pride, and appreciation in countless award recipients and raffle winners. Today, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to Joy for her many years of dedication, service, and unwavering commitment to the paddling community. Her contributions have enriched these events and the people who participate in them. Thanks, Joy. She normally makes these paddles, or at least I had to keep it hidden from her.
You're
so
so
she wouldn't see
sneaky,
it.
Bob.
And also, Kristen, come on up here. Kristen Daniels' enduring dedication has been a cornerstone of the Texas Water Safari for the past quarter century. Her unwavering commitment, heartfelt passion, and love for the race has shaped the event in countless ways. Since 2001, she has guided aspiring participants by teaching the team captain section of the seminar, sharing knowledge and inspiration. In 2002, she assumed leadership of the race check-in operations, bringing organization, professionalism, and care to one of the event's most critical functions. In 2016, she once again moved the safari forward by introducing online registration and helping usher the race into the digital era. Her contributions extend far beyond administration. Kristen has also lived the safari experience firsthand as a 22-time team captain and 2-time Texas Water Safari finisher. An achievement that reflects the same grit, endurance, and determination she has brought to serve the race itself. Kristen Daniels' legacy is one of service, leadership, and enduring commitment. Few individuals have given so much of themselves to the Texas Water Safari, and her impact will continue to be felt for years to come. She truly has been the lady in charge. Each year, we try to recognize those folks who become Hall of Fame members. It goes back to 2012, and at that time, we recognized that a lot of people came back year after year. And in fact, some of them had done 10 and 20 and 30 times. So we created the Hall of Fame, and these plaques up here that you see have a total of 108 different names. All those people have done the race at least 10 times. Some 20, some 30, and one 46 times. I mentioned John Boogie, who's that little plaque there on the bottom. So today we want to recognize some new inductees into the 2600 Mile Club, which means these people last year finished their 10th Water Safari. Molly Binion. Molly finished her first safari in 2000 at a time of 40 minutes and 52 seconds. 40 hours and 52 minutes, I'm sorry. That's pretty fast. She won the women's solo in 2014. She won the women's class in 2021. And she finished last year in 42 hours and 56 minutes. Congratulations. Andrew Davis. Is Andrew Davis in the house, I hope?
There he is.
Andrew finished the safari's mixed class in 2013 in 86 hours and 26 minutes. He finished solo in 2014, 16, and 17. He finished unlimited in 2019, 21, 22, and 24. And last year, he finished his 10th safari in 42 hours and 9 minutes. Jay Fox finished his first water safari in 2010 in 82 hours and 56 minutes. He raced Tandem Unlimited in 2011, 12, 21, and 22. And last year, he finished the 62nd safari in 48 hours and 24 minutes.
Good job, Jay.
Heather Harrison finished her first safari in 2013 in 66 hours and 33 minutes. She raced 5 other classes, including Women's Solo, Unlimited, Unlimited Women, Tandem Unlimited, and Standard. And last year she finished in 39 hours and 57 minutes. I think 9th overall. A great finish. And last but not least, we've got someone who did this race, finished it 20 times. That's 5,200 miles. That's like going from New York to San Francisco and back, if you could do that. Anyway, twice across the continent. John Micah. John is bound to be here. He's not here? I thought okay, well, John raced his first safari in 1990 in 56 hours and 27 minutes. Over the next 35 years, he raced 7 different classes. He won the aluminum in 2000 and in 1991. In 1994, he won Tandem Unlimited in 2006. He won the Masters in 2008. And last year, he finished his 20th in 53 hours and 36 minutes.
I think this year we probably have one of the best race officiating crew that we've ever had in Texas Water Safari. We really got a lot of people that have come back who have raced the race, team captained the race, and if we're not racing this year, team captain can volunteer to step up and assist throughout the race. So I'm really excited about the bank team race volunteers. I think they're going to do an excellent job. The Texas Water Safari Board consists of Bob Spain, Daniel, raise your hand, David Kaiser, Melissa James, Holly Ward, Chris Stevenson, Brian Jones, and Jonathan Zeke. And this year, for overseeing the race, we've always had in the past, last 10 years, we've had Robin Reeves as a race chairman. This year, Kareem Aziz, raise your hand. Roy Kleinstesser are going to be the race chairman. He basically handles all the logistics during the race. River searches, checkpoint official needs relief, has to go home. So everything funnels through Kareem. If you need something, a TC, if something's amiss on the banks, it's best to go through the checkpoint official first, but if you can't, give Kareem a call and he'll get the right people in the right place. The head race judge, is Vance Sherrard still here? Vance, there he is, waving by the tree out there. And Clay Wyatt, is Clay still here? He may have already left. These two individuals are going to be in charge of rules enforcement. So if you see them, it's probably not a good sign. Communication director, and he also is in charge of bay searches. He's already left and head back down to Seadrift. It's Daryl Klinachek and his assistant Steve Reagan. The director of search this year we have the same director who's been amazing over the past few years is Daryl Gerald. Daryl, he has done an outstanding job on getting teams out safely. This year, due to the high volume of racers, we've expanded now to 4 search teams. They consist of Shane Anderson and Chad Keith as one team. We've also got Jerry Cochran, Sammy Prohaska, and John Hoffert, one team. We've got Jason Jones and Jimmy Harvey as one team. And then we have Sean Boyette and Scott Johnson as a team. board member and timing coordinator this year at the iPads is going to be Melissa James. The sweets judge, she's the last person in the world you want to see because she closes down all the checkpoints. The director of tracking, Sam Friedman, he's right there. Y'all will all probably talk to him and his sister today. Sam has the fun job of following y'all through the whole race. And when somebody goes out of bounds, we get a call, we send in the search team, and vice versa. Or if a Garmin tracker stops working, we send a tracking team to go replace it or fix it. And that assistant director is Joe Sterling. He's on the ground. He also has with him Henry McCready and Mike Martin. And I don't think anybody knows her, the head of social media, Patty Geisinger. Or Ashley Landis, the Texas Water Supply photographer. Couple of newbies. Checkpoint officials, we have so many, and most of them have already left. We had our checkpoints meeting this morning. I would like to, when y'all are racers and you come through the checkpoints, it'd be great if you would just thank those officials when you're there. They have a really hard job of them. Some of them on the Lower River, they're there 2 nights. And so just tell them thanks, and hopefully they'll be back again next year. I think Mr. Z.
All right, we're excited to use the timing app like we did last year with the iPads again this year. And just want to reiterate the importance of being able to know where your team is at any point in the race. So make sure when you are about to leave your checkpoint, your team has gone through the checkpoint, they've been checked through by the race official, that you go and sign the iPad to make sure that we know where they are on the river at any point in time. This timing system is a different timing system than the GPS tracking. It is an eyes on the boat kind of a tracking system, so it's really important that we keep that up to date. One of the things that we've changed this year is the Colville Park checkpoint is a new checkpoint. It replaces Calhoun's, and what that means is that there is now an opportunity for a boat to go down into Mission Lake without hitting Colville Park. Colville Park is the same place as Wooden Bridge. So if your team ends up going down into Mission Lake, taking Taylor's Cut, instead of going to Colville Park, as soon as they enter into the Mission Lake, that will be their quote-unquote check-in time and check-out time. And it is their responsibility to make it through the bay and to the finish line. So just be aware that that could be a thing this year.
All right, how's everyone doing with their heat training? I think the number one question we get on check-in day is like, are you ready? So my question to you is, are you ready? That's good. All right, so we're now getting into the meat of things. We're going to talk about the race. But before we go into the rules of the race course, I just want to talk about a few things that are new, a few things that are different this year. So first up, we are now officially fully on the Garmin tracking system. So keeping that operational throughout the entire race is your responsibility. They've got an amazing battery life, so you don't have those issues like with the spots in the past where you got to reset them. It's a really great tracker. This is our 14th year, though, of using trackers. And so we've gotten a good rhythm with them. But if you are asked to pull over, if you're not tracking, so if you're asked by an official, please honor that request. We have, the race owns our own tracker, so if yours goes down and needs to be replaced, we can help you with that. If you have any issues while you're getting registered, or if you're on the race, look out for Sam Friedman and Joe Sterling, and they can help you out with that. All right, in 2018, Texas Water Safari history was made when Veronica Sosa took the first ever selfie in the bay. So yeah, since that time, you've always been needed to bring two-way communication device, and it's perfectly okay for you to use that now. That will change back in 2018. The caution here is that device needs to stay charged because that is your lifeline out of there if you get in trouble. So be careful with your device. You're free to communicate with whoever you want, but just know that if you contact a race official, that is the equivalent of firing off a flare. So be careful with who you contact. If you do have to contact a race official to assist another team, that does not apply. So don't hesitate under those terms. All right, next up is Meadows State Park. So Meadows State Park is an awesome host. But when we go in there, we do need to have a day pass. We are selling day passes up here. So if you want make sure if you do go in, so you're in a rush and you just go in and do your resupply, please make sure you get that pass. Everyone needs to buy that pass before leaving. It's just the day pass. It's not a campsite. They've asked us to keep the low water bridge clear so that they can get a four-wheeler through there for any rescues. That gets really crowded, and so keep it to essential people in there for the handoffs. No boats are allowed to stay on that bridge, so we need to keep boats moving through. So if you're going up and over the bridge, keep it moving through. You can't leave the boat there. And then as boats approach, please use a call like my family calls. Call. Use something like that. Do not shine lights in people's faces. It's really tough. The water's moving fast, and there's a huge obstacle that's quite dangerous. All right. Okay, the awards ceremony will be on Monday because we're now starting the race on Friday. So don't forget that. Don't get the day wrong. It is the lunch, catfish and shrimp, is going to start at 11:30 a.m. and the awards banquet is at 1 p.m. If this is your first time, that is your benchmark. Try and make the banquet. All right, and then one aspect of this race that makes it unlike any other is the world-class social media team. It's just so awesome. Leading up, I just get so hyped with the countdown. So you can find them. They've got their own colored shirts. And please interact with everything on Facebook and Instagram. Also tag the Texas Water Safari in there, and then our account will promote that for you.
Hashtag Texas Water Safari.
Hashtag Texas Water Safari. And please contact your mom and dad and show them how to log into Facebook so they can follow too. It's the right thing to do. All right, so for the race start tomorrow. So you can leave your boat here overnight. There's going to be a security on site, and it's a great honor for me to make this joke because I've been hearing it for 10 years, but the security guard will protect your boat, but it will not protect it from raccoons. So please don't leave any food items in there. Make sure you know which row you are on. So the row, we've got buoys out there marking all of the different rows, and there's a lot of confusion every year which way you count. So just know lower numbers on the left, counting to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10. So left to right are the numbers. Boats tomorrow, you will be able to get in at 7:30 a.m. So we're going to start a little bit earlier. But like Dr. May said earlier, it is critical that you only put in on the designated locations. We have the primary location is down here by the headwaters. Right by the big tent there. There's a smaller put in for smaller boats along River Right. There's a dock down there. And then down all the way by the glass bottom boats, there's a cement skirt next to the fence where you can also walk down there and put down there. This is something that's been a recurring issue. And so crossing in protected areas, anything that is taped off absolutely will not be tolerated. And it's a minimum of 12-hour fine, like we mentioned earlier, up to disqualification. So please respect the sacred area and the spring. Thank you. All right. At the start, please be respectful. Not respectful. You don't have to be respectful to them. Please be mindful of the big boats. So there's big boats all around. They move fast. You don't have to be respectful because they're not very respectful of other people. Normally they're going to come up on the right side. There's usually a channel on there, so just be mindful of it and use good sportsmanship going over this first portage. It's exciting, it's hectic, it's wonderful, and we're all, as the old timers always say, you can't win the race in Spring Lake, but you can certainly lose it. All right, moving down river. Another issue that we want to address this year is the trash. Now, everybody who is participating in the Texas Water Safari, we love the river, and we're respectful that we clean up, and but man, it just wears down on you making your way down the river, and so we always have a lot of mess to clean up, and that usually falls on the volunteers. So to address that, the first thing you can do is if you see an overflowing trash can, please do not put your trash next to it. Someone still has to pick that up. So please pack out any trash if the trash cans are overflowing. We've provided dumpsters this year. So there will be dumpsters at Gonzales, Hoheim, and Colville Park. So you don't have to pack it out very long. So please do that. And then please respect private property. If you don't have permission to enter, please don't go there. You may have been on a training run where someone else got you in to Billy Bob's house back on the river. It's no longer open to you if you don't have their explicit permission. All right, and then we have rest and feeding areas. This is a relatively recent development in the last few years. These will be located at 5 different checkpoints. One is going to be at Lily 90. We've got one at Hoheim, one at Cheapside, 766, one at Cuero, 236, one at Victoria City Park, and then finally one at Swinging Bridge. And so what these areas are for, they're meant to keep the checkpoints clear and give you a really nice, safe place to rest while your TCs are nearby. You can stop at any checkpoint and quickly eat, but we just want you to stay within 20 feet of your boat. This will allow you to relax, kind of like let your guard down a little bit. As a reminder though, the number one question we get about these is, can we just pull over and sleep wherever we want at any bar? Absolutely. We just wanted to create a place for you to stop while keeping the checkpoints clear. All right, so that's it. We're going to go through some rules in the course next. So next up is going to be rules. So we've got...
My name is Chris Stevenson. I'm one of the board members. I'm also the lawyer for the Texas Water Safari, so it falls to me to go over some rules enforcement. But before I do that, we found a set of keys, or somebody's found a set of keys. It has Luling Emporium on it, and it's got TWS 2024 keychain. So I'm going to leave them up here with the check-in officials. If these are your keys, or if your card is the last one here, then maybe your keys are up here.
Maybe remind them that I don't like being the lost and found person with Mary.
Yeah, don't ask Patty Geisler. She doesn't.
No, I don't want to pick up your stuff. Label it, please. Yeah.
And I do want to remind everybody, the person who you most do not want to see in the Texas Water Safari is the sweeps official who was not named earlier. That's Mary Wilson. She's got the fox on her hat. If you see her, that means one thing. You have not been paddling hard enough. So you need to get your butt down the river. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about the rules. One thing I want to say about this is that I can tell you for sure, every single member of the Safari Board wants every single person who enters the race to finish without penalty. Period, the end. So nobody wants to ding anybody, but this race has been going on a long time. There have been some very unique rules, and we are charged with keeping the integrity of the race intact. And so that is what these rules are meant to preserve. Most of the time, rules are broken by accident. The safari is a simulated expedition, and the rules are meant to preserve the original spirit of that experience. If you see something, say something. If you see someone who is about to break a rule, say, hey, did you know that that's against the rule? We don't want to create a culture of tattletelling, but we do want to hold each other accountable. Okay. I do also, now this is the lawyer liability waiver section, the small print. I want to remind everybody, racers and their team captains, that you enter this race at your own risk. The Texas Water Safari Corporation, its race officials, checkpoint officials, sponsors, and most especially board members, are not liable for accidents to personnel, meaning your health and safety or damage to any property or equipment during the race. If you feel you have a medical emergency, do not call a safari official first, call 911. Also, no lost or they have gotten into trouble. Just a reminder that the search teams will rescue people, not equipment and boats. There's some rules here. We've gone over them now several times. I'm not going to go over them again. If you've not checked in yet, just remember that, again, it's a big deal this year. Boat numbers, because we have so many teams this year, and it's very difficult, especially at some checkpoints that are early in the race. They're not going to get washed away. And if they're at least 4 inches, they're contrasting colors and they are reflective. Also, be mindful of the cutoff times, especially for the first 2 checkpoints. Those are the ones that give people the most trouble. If you can beat the Luling cutoff, you have a pretty good chance of finishing. The Staples cutoff is 2 p.m. The Luling Highway 90 cutoff is 8 p.m. And those are strictly enforced. Just a reminder, we've got green placards that have got all the boat numbers on them for all the TCs. Put those on your dashboard so that you can be identified. This is also very important so that we don't lose track of people. If a team drops out, you must sign out at that checkpoint, if you're at a checkpoint, or at the checkpoint immediately downstream. So, don't just leave. I know you're disappointed or whatever, but let somebody know and officially sign out at the next checkpoint. Okay, now, our favorite rule, or at least the board's favorite rule, in formulating the rules that govern this event, every effort has been made to foresee all possible situations and problems that might arise. However, officials of the Texas Water Safari Corporation retain the right to change or amend these rules at any time without liability or recourse from any party, regardless of the circumstances. Should such changes or amendments be made, all entrants will receive notification of those changes. And with that, I will hand it over to Jay Daniel to go over the course description.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Let's see. Has anybody told you about the put in at Ocarina Springs this afternoon?
No.
Look, guys, there's this thing that I say on the interwebs, this FAFO. Bear it in mind. Do not screw this up for us. At the portage, it's marked. You know what? You're not going to win the race by being the first guy through the portage. You might win it by being the 4th guy, or the 5th guy, or the winning team last year. They got hung up in the middle of everybody and still passed everybody by the time they got to Rio Vista. So be kind, be gentle. Don't use too many bad words because the restaurant is open.
Don't run
and just go where you're supposed to go. When you get to Rio Vista, it's going to be a madhouse. I mean, it always is. Deal with it. Be nice to the spectators. They know to get out of your way, but they're like tubers in your headlights. They don't know whether to go left, right, or indifferent. So you don't hurt them, please. When you get below Interstate 35 and you get to Thompson's Island, you must not go across the road. So if for some reason you still think it's faster to take the left channel, you'd have to portage along the road and put back in and go onto the road. You cannot go along the middle race and get back in. Apparently that happened a few years ago and we did not catch it. Bad on you, bad on us. Keep on going. You're going to get to the confluence of the San Marcos River and the Blanco River. Please turn right. Please turn right. You would not believe how many times we've gotten a phone call from somebody at Walmart who has managed to turn left. You'll get to come and stand. Portage come and stand. Do not go running over it. I don't think you can at this water level, but just be aware of what your plan is.
Okay, we're going to get to Westfield Road. If you're a spectator, do not park along Westfield Road. You're more than welcome to go down to San Marcos River Retreat and hang out there. It's about a quarter of a mile, maybe a half mile. It's not going to be the difference in did you have enough water or not. Then you get to the exciting part of the race. You get to go through the rapids. Woohoo! When you go through Cottonseed, make sure to wave, do your thing. Lots of people be there yelling.
Don't look at Patty.
But be respectful of the folks that live there. They're very kind, the Perkins family, to let us continue to access the property. Parking will be controlled by the Martindale Police. That's the world's famous Martindale Police. You don't have any idea how much they love to write tickets, Martindale Police. So bear in mind how you're parking, leave passage. It comes back to the emergency vehicle thing again. All right, get down. It's going to be the Staples. You have to portage Martindale Dam too, so, portage it. Don't run it. I mean, there's bad things in there. Am I getting in there enough, Patty? We good?
I'm just thinking we need to get Owen a chair. I'm trying to get Libby to give Owen a chair.
Libby, your mom said to give Owen a chair.
When in doubt, ask the children.
All right. You get to Staples. The cutoff time is 2 o'clock. This is printed in multiple locations. From Staples, let's say to Luling 90, you have a lot of places where it twists to the left. You have a lot of places where it twists to the right. You have a lot of crap sticking up out of the river. So just be aware of all that. Watch your head as you go into the low water bridges. When you get to Prairie Lee, there may or may not be tubers. Do not be the person who injures some little kid who is too dumb to get out of your way on an interview. Do not be that person. I don't want to have to start on Wednesday or something. I thought it would be done by Sunday, so I guess it's doable. So that's been 20 miles of fun. And then you get to leave Luling 90, you get about 3 miles of mess, and you finally get a little bit of deep water for about 2 miles. You'll get to, figure it out? You'll get to Luling Dam. Luling Dam is a right-hand portage, or if you're one of those really cool cowboy types, you can slide your boat down the buttress. And I've seen some people portage left since they put the little block things in there, so you can try that, but do not try to run it. Please don't try to run it. You'll go through and you'll go past Luling Golf Course Duck because they're really crappy golfers there, and there is a hole that shoots right over the river. You think I'm making a joke, but my own dear wife managed to get bonked in the head by a golf ball there. No insurance was collected. Then I think that we have talked about we talked about Palmetto Low Water Bridge earlier. You don't have to portage Ottine. It's not there anymore. And I still get people asking me, what do we do at Ottine Dam? Figure it out. It's not there. Seriously, probably the most consistently dangerous spot on the river is the Palmetto Low Water Bridge. That water's rushing underneath it, just high enough for somebody's legs to get swept under it. If you have a small child with you, or even a full-size one that doesn't know how to swim, please put them in a PFD. My daughter used to think, why do I need to have a PFD here, Daddy? Why do I have to have a PFD here? So finally she got bumped off the bridge, and somebody had to go around the corner to pick her up, and she was floating like she should be. And you sure don't want to end up in front of it. From there, I thought they talked about that. Okay, when you get, everybody's bought their park pass, right? Yeah. Good. Don't go in there without a park pass. When you go in, do not park if you're parking on the rectory side, which is River Right, where if you did the night race, it's where the check-in was, which is probably the second best race in Texas. Do not park along the road. We have reserved the entire campground. So if you pull in, you can go back to where the RVs normally park, where the restroom is, et cetera, et cetera. You can pull in on what would be river left as you come in, which is right before you go over the river if you come from 183 at Master Park. So do your best, because they're out there not, I mean, they're just trying to keep it safe for everyone too. So keep it moving. You know, I guarantee you that your team is not going so fast that you can't take the time to park properly. Unless you screwed up as a team captain or a bank person. I mean, you're the one that comes swinging in. Went to Lily's Dairy Queen and it took them so long to make my blizzard. Anyhow, does that cover that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the feeding area, if you are not going to go on there, that's one of the areas that's a feeding area. It is on the river right up by the refectory. That's where you will have to, you eat your food, you don't sit on the boat ramp, you turn it around, you have to keep it clear for four-wheelers. Up in that circle area, basically, of the parking is where you can do your sleep-in food, whatever you need to do. Somebody asked me, speaking of the feeding area, I got an email. It's so obvious you guys don't really know how to read sometimes. Somebody asked, we can only sleep at these places that are mentioned at the end of the rules? It's like, no, you knuckleheads. Though at those places, these are the only places you can sleep. I don't care if you go to Gonzales Gravel Bar or some random gravel bar, or you want to crawl under Gonzales 90A, don't do that. And sleep. But at those particular places, that's where you have to eat, or drink, or sleep, if you're not continuing on. Okay. From there, we're going to go on and we finally get to, there have been jams, and then there have not been jams, and then there have been jams again, and there have been people lying to other people about there being jams or not being jams. Just be prepared in that section for there to be a jam, all the way from Palmetto State Park, Sladen Cemetery Bridge. I really miss the old bridge. On down to Highway 90A. Finally, you're going to get some deep water, but it's going really slow because it's flowing less than the Guadalupe's flowing, so it's backing up, but it'll be deep. When you get to that confluence, this time you turn left. I mean, I know there's a Yankee paddler in here that managed to turn right at some point. We won't name his name, because that would be rude. And, all right, so we're going to turn left. We're going to go down. When you get to Gonzales Dam, the portage is on river left. This is one of the first areas that we have a dumpster at. Let me clarify something David said. If your team gets there at such a point where the dumpsters are full, don't pile your trash around your dumpster. At that point, you need to carry it out with you. You know, we are not your mother, as they say. I am certainly not my mother. So take your trash with you. Clean it up. When you're at Gonzales, as team captains, spectators, there is a house right before you get to the place going down. There's a 93-year-old lady who lives there, and she got the snot scared out of her last year because people were pulling up in her driveway. Do not go past the mailbox. That will have caution tape along the drive. Do not block the drive. Sounds like so many do nots. There's a lot of stuff to do. But let's not cause a problem for her. From there, we get to the really exciting stretch of Gonzales Dam to Gonzales Gravel Bar. That's kind of cool. But then you're going to leave Gonzales Gravel Bar, Highway 183, and depending on who you ask, it's either 36 and a half or 38 miles or somewhere in there. It depends on how many times you zig or zag, I assume. And it's really boring. When you see the big bright light on River Right, make a hard left and turn inside the island, I think. Maybe you should already know that because you're racing and I'm not. But I do know it's a hard left. And then you get onto the straightest stretch of the entire Guadalupe River because at some point they dredged it out and it stayed straight. When you get to Hoheim, they have informed me that at the checkpoint proper, there is some stuff blocking where the handoff was done, and they highly suggest that you do your handoff at the bridge. So that's something you certainly want to make note of. I mean, it doesn't matter to me where you do your handoff at, but since they gave me the suggestion, I figured I should pass it on to you. From there, we're going to leave Hoheim, and we get 25 miles of more twisty, turny, kind of low water-ishy stuff until you get to Cheapside. Cheapside, Hoheim has a feeding area as well, and that will be, actually we need to think about that one, because if they're going to have them go to the bridge to feed, that makes it really difficult to take out at the checkpoint to do the feeding area. So stay tuned for more news there. At Cheapside, there is a feeding area. I cannot remember where they set it up last year, but they're always plainly marked with big signs that say rest area or something along those lines. Let's see, Cheapside, we finally got to about the halfway point, or a little ways past it. And I know you're all feeling really good about things at that point. Leave Cheapside, and you will get to Old Cuero Dam. Only most of you will never know that you got to Old Cuero Dam because it blew out quite a few years ago, and there's a big loop around it, and it's no big deal. And it becomes less of a deal every time. And then you get on to 236, another place with a feeding area. River left is your sign-in spot. Then we're going to do the old prelim course, which means we're going to get to 236 and we're going to go to Victoria. It's the city park is your next checkpoint. There's some of the most interesting rapids to run at night. And some of you will run them at night. And somebody told me a long time ago, it's like, the river knows the way. And it kind of does. So, but again, you've all practiced it. You all ran it during the prelim, so you know what you're doing there. But, I mean, it could be fun. That wave at De Leon Rapid is always a good place for a refreshing swim. The place that has managed to break the most boats in the Texas Water Authority, there's 3 places, and they're all in this stretch. Once you go past River Haven, where the prelim started, that right-hand turn, I assume you'll be back to a right-hand turn, and you will not be able to go straight like you were able to during the prelim. That sweeper is a boat getter. Just below Thomaston, the next bridge, there is a sweeper on River Right. At this water level, if you haven't seen it, and you've left Thomaston, I would stay to the left until I run out of river and carry your boat down that gravel bar. Then you get to the world famous stretch from Nursery to Victoria. You can turn left once you pass Nursery, and all the winds of hell will be in your face. It always is. When I write a book, I'm going to call it The Wind Never Blows Downstream, and I'm going to put a picture going past that power plant on the cover. Gonna go, river's gonna turn to the right at Power Bend, and it's gonna get twisty for a little ways, but the river's low. Y'all get the picture, it's not real high. At Victoria, what time is the cutoff? 6 a.m. 10 a.m. at Victoria on Sunday. That's when the permit runs out. So we're going to go up and get everything out of there, and you're going to go. Feeding area is in the big grassy area just past the parking lot. That's probably, if you've got a sleep, that's probably the nicest one of the whole bunch because they actually keep the lawn maintained there. You're going to leave Victoria, and you're going to go through all that twisty, sweepery stuff that you went through right before you got to that fine meal we had at the pump house after the prelim. You're going to look up there and you're going to think, dang, that was good, and I really like stopping here, but you don't get to stop here. You still got about 55 miles to go. You're going to go on past that. You're going to get to what old timers call Highway 59. Currently, it's called Business 59. And there used to be a power plant, a little power plant still there on River Left, and they shut it down a while back. And it used to be a earth-shattering roar that would keep you awake if you went past it. Then you get to the next twisty section with some pretty good sweepers in it, and then, lo and behold, you're at what some will call Loop 175. It is now Highway 59. You can meet under the bridge there, but there is a nicer spot just downstream from there that I'm blanking on the name. I think the last name is Dye. That sounds correct. That have made some really nice steps down and a really nice landing there, and I would use that. That would be my suggestion. From there, you're going to make your way on a swinging bridge. This is a really boring section. The first time I ever ran it, it took us an hour to get to 59, it took us an hour to get to Loop 175, and I looked at that map and it looked like the same distance. It was only going to take us an hour to get to Swinging Bridge, and 4 hours later, we got there because the map was a cartoonish kind of map, and after that I purchased Topo maps. But to keep yourself entertained in there are 105 turns from the time you leave Loop 175 until you get to Swinging Bridge. If you don't believe me, you count them, and it'll actually keep you awake, you know, if you're moving fast enough. You're going to get to Swinging Bridge. The checkpoint is probably the nicest checkpoint that's possible to have in the mosquito-ridden hell that is anything south of Victoria. They have you can't make this up, man. They have a air-conditioned porta potty there that if you get there early enough, it is so nice that you would want to sleep on the floor. I mean, because it's not a porta potty like you're thinking of a porta potty. It's like really nice. And, you know, they generally supply drinks. It's a well-lighted area, and it's a great boat ramp going down to the water. Many of you will remember as the place that you finished the Texas Water Safari last year. Some of you are probably angry that that's where you finished the Texas Water Safari last year. And some of you that went past it are angry that you went past it and didn't get to finish the Texas Water Safari last year. So, that being said, there's a plan in place. If for some amazing reason it starts raining here in a few minutes and we get high water, there will be a portage marked on River Left so that we're not telling you just to take the Jeep trail. We will have it laid out how you will portage through there. Now, that might make a world-class 1.5 mile portage if we have to, but we will finish the race in Seadrift as long as the river is not in such a flood stage that we can't be on. Thank you, that was all my idea.
Yeah.
Not really. The cuts. Everybody's been putting all their crap on the interwebs about the cuts. You bunch of losers, man. Do you not understand that when you put that stuff on the internet, you just told your competition how to do things? What are you thinking? And not only that, don't try to use somebody else's track because no two GPS units are created equal. No two tracks are solid enough to go through those cuts because the margin of error is wider than the cuts are. Don't do it. If you haven't learned it, do something smart, like get out on River Left and take the Jeep trail. It's a lot less of a hassle than A, breaking your boat, B, getting lost,
C, getting lost the second time.
C, getting lost the second time. You know, and D, you're so lost that we have to come get you. So, there you have it. There was a point in the last few weeks where the river was actually open. I would not bank on that at this point because the water level has dropped. So, I wouldn't bank on going through the cuts if you've never been through them either. But, you know, that you have to decide for yourself. You're grown-ups, or at least you're a 13-year-old with a grown-up. And then we're going to go down past that, you know, maybe you went through Alligator Lake, don't. Maybe Maybe you didn't. But you're going to go past all that, and you're going to get to the saltwater barrier. The saltwater barrier will be a mandatory portage on River Right. No ifs, ands, or buts. They've been too inconsistent about how the lights and everything have been. Portage sign has been up since last year, and they've got a new one to put up, so we're going to portage that. From there, you're going to zip on past all those fine luxury condos on River Left as you get down to Highway 35. If you want to stop at the RV park for a handoff, you are more than welcome to do so. If you are not a TCKRA member with a window sticker, make sure you pay your price. I mean, we're not going to be there, we're not going to monitor it, but if I were the guy that owned it, I sure would. From there, we're going to zip on down. Chris mentioned, and I'll mention again, when you get to Trailer Cut, if for some reason you find that to be a better route, that's fine. Take your left, get out into Mission Lake, and go on around. We'll take the ping off of your Garmin device as your time in and out of the checkpoint. But the team captain still has to go down to Wooden Bridge to sign you through. That's the only caveat to the whole thing. So if you've gone through Trailer Cut, team captain, you still have to go down and sign it through. From there, some people tell me the bay is better since we started finishing at Swan Point. Tommy. Some people tell me it's worse since we started finishing at Swan Point. Brian. It's different, and it's rougher, and it tends to be, and the bay is predicted to be crap. So that really makes me entertained at this point. But while you're out there, floating around, leaving your paddles at the dock somewhere, walking the rest of the way, whatever might happen, you can get out at the old finish line and drag around as far as you can drag around, and then take a zipper right up from the marina. That's probably a wise move for some of you. I did not mention the barge canal. The barge canal is not as easy to see as it used to be. If you go into the barge canal and you come out the same spot that you went in, there will be no penalty. If you go into the barge canal and you continue down towards Bendewall Point and do not retreat to where you went in, there will be a minimum of a 2-hour penalty. If you have done it before, there will probably be a larger penalty. So don't do that. You need to know where that is. It's dangerous for a small boat like we're paddling in to be between a barge and that bank, because those waves will just send you for a ride. And so then you're going to come and you're looking at that bay. If you're there at night, there's all those wonderful lights, and you're trying to tell which one it is, and it's really difficult. We do have some flasher lights, like emergency vehicle type lights that will be going, but the rest of it's on you. The finish line has moved. It's about 100 yards towards the pier from what it used to be. So maybe some of you that managed to go all the way around it will, look for the pier, go there, and the finish line is right there. And at that point, you have successfully completed the 63rd Texas Water Safari. Go take a shower. Come see us on 1 o'clock on Monday afternoon for the banquet, and we hope we see all of you there.
Okay, real quick, I do want to make just a quick note in the bay. If one year we had 17 bay rescues, so if you do have issues in the bay and this lead team to the back of the pack, you get taken out, you're still responsible for getting your boat out. If your boat's floating in the bay without any paddlers, a fisherman sees it, it's an immediate assumption it's a drowning, and the Coast Guard with helicopters, boats, they get mobilized. So the team captain needs to be able to contact one of the local fishermen, which we've got names of down there, to help you get your boat out. I think that's pretty much wraps it up. We do have a bunch of bags up here, trash bags, and we've got more in the boxes, like boxes. You don't want to take them back.
One quick thing, if for some reason you do not have the correct flares and you've managed to make it through checkpoints, check in, and you don't, we have a couple of sets available up here at the check-in.
Okay. Okay, you can do photos at the trailer if you want it. Get the bag. Good luck.